Welcome to the Richard Sherman Podcast YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our playoff content. You know it's going to get busy. I mean, you might get a bar or two.
We got to start with San Fran. San Francisco 49ers pull off an absolute gut-wrenching victory against the Green Bay Packers. Richard, did you see this one playing out the way it did? An absolute squeaker at the end for the San Francisco 49ers, 24-21. Huge win.
Mitchell, I expected it to be a dogfight. I did. I expected them to trade blows back and forth, but I did not expect San Francisco to be trailing going into the fourth quarter. Because going into this game, Mitchell, the San Francisco 49ers, when trailing by 7 points or more entering the fourth quarter under Kyle Shanahan, were 0-30. Mitchell, they were down 21-14 going into the fourth quarter. When they're in the fourth quarter, if they're ever down by 5+ points, Mitchell, they were 2-41. Mitchell, they were down most of it. And this team showed something they had not shown all season or ever under Kyle Shanahan, the ability to make a fourth quarter comeback when down more than a score. And they did that, and that it was really cool because Brock Purdy, the elements, anytime it rains, you're kind of nervous for the San Francisco 49ers. They just have not played well under those conditions. So as soon as I saw that on the forecast, and I'm sure every Niner fan, when they saw that on the forecast, was sitting there very, very stressed. Their anxiety level went up substantially. But Brock Purdy, last drive of the game, 12 plays, 69 yards, capped off by a CMC 5-yard run for a touchdown. Mitchell, for the fourth time in the last 5 years, the San Francisco 49ers are in the NFC Championship. Third year in a row. It's becoming common practice. They expect to be there. They should be there. But you got to give a lot of credit to the Green Bay Packers and what they were able to do. Jordan Love played a solid game. He turned the ball over twice. So, you do got to give him credit for those because the last interception was kind of a head scratcher. Where was he going with the ball? Why? It was first down. It was an unnecessarily forced play. It wasn't like he had to have it at that time. They had time on the clock. They had timeouts. But Dre Greenlaw made a heck of a play. CMC played a really good game. You got the concerns about Debo and his shoulder and what he wasn't able to return to the game. But Juwan Jennings, third and Juwan, deserves a ton of credit. He stepped into a moment. He wasn't expected to play the role that he had to play when Debo went out. He made huge play after huge play. And for a while there, he and Kittle were all they had. Kittle and CMC. He was the go-to guy making plays, pushing the ball down the field. But this defense stepped up, made huge plays when they needed to. They got a huge stop in the red zone, fourth down to keep points off the board. That was a huge play in the game and ended up being probably the difference maker in it, Mitchell.
There's no question about it, Rich. I mean, this game, for all intents and purposes, did not go the way I think the vast majority of folks thought it would go. Green Bay had their fair share of chances to put this one away. Darnell Savage should have been pick six, right in the hands, dropped. Anders Carlson, the rookie kicker, missed field goal. Trouble with the snap, trouble with the hold, still missed field goal. I mean, Green Bay exceeded expectations. You got to tip your hat to this team. They gave San Francisco hell, Richard. No I think they gave them hell, and they looked like a team that is going to be on the rise here for the next several years.
But that's where you get concerned because I don't trust playoff performances like I used to, Mitchell. It used to be a great indicator, a great barometer of future success. You could say, hey, look at what he did in the playoffs. He's going to do that starting next year. And then you get the Jacksonville Jaguars situation where you're like, okay, they started 8-3 and then just imploded down the stretch and weren't even a playoff team after, making that big comeback against the Chargers. They looked good against Kansas City last year. You thought, hey, all the arrows are pointing up, and they end up not even being a playoff team the next year. So while you got to give them a lot of credit, but sometimes these kind of losses are backbreaking. Sometimes these kind of losses are ones where you let it get away and then you never even get close again, But Jordan Love looks like an elite quarterback. The future looks bright. It looks like they have a very strong young receiving core that are very unselfish. Aaron Jones played his best game against the San Francisco 49ers that I think in recent memory. I don't think I've ever seen him run that well against San Francisco's defense. He had the big 53-yard run. But at the end of the day, Mitchell, ugly, pretty, clean, whatever. A win is a win, and winners advance and losers go home. That's the playoffs, Mitchell. It's the tournament. And for the third time in the last 3 years, the San Francisco 49ers advanced to the championship game on the NFC side. And I think it's going to be a fantastic game versus your Detroit Lions. But we'll get there when we get there, Mitchell.